Hey everyone. So, this is a bit different than what I normally post. This will be sort of a quote unquote journal documenting my struggles with my sexuality. Also, it's Pride Month. Usually, I don't celebrate Pride Month, but I just figured I'd make a video regarding my sexuality as it has been all over the place for almost my entire life. Also, this is not the video that was supposed to come out before the X's Storytime finale. As mentioned in that video, that idea has since been scrapped, and I might remake the script at some point, but for now, that idea will not resurface. Once again, like in the X's Storytime series, everyone's names in this story except mine will be censored for legal reasons. There will be some returning folks mentioned like Yandere Dev and Arthur, but there will also be a couple new aliases to name. Before we start, I do want to give a small update about the aforementioned ex, Yandere Dev. If you're not interested in this bit, you can skip ahead. We are now no longer in contact because I got tired of him essentially stalking me on all of my socials. Our last conversation was not friendly. Turned out he still had feelings for me or wanted to be with me as well, and while I had a hunch, I initially just thought he was being weird. While I did value his friendship and regret how I handled our last moments, as of now, it's best for us not to be friends or talk, and when or if I'm ready to contact him again, he'll know. I know in his Storytime video I said that I didn't really want to be his friend anymore, and I guess in a way that is true, but it's more or less I was trying to do it for his own good because I knew he was sort of still hung up on me, and I just didn't need that stress at the moment, and yeah. Um, Anyways, like I said, when I'm ready to contact him again, he will know, but that's if I can contact him since he blocked me off everything known to man. Not sure if he's still watching my stuff, but if he is, hey Dev, sorry for chastising you so bad, but you were beginning to creep me out. Maybe someday I'll try to contact you again. Also, for those who subscribed for my Pokemon content, which is over half of you, yes, there will be more of that coming, but please keep in mind my channel is not exclusively Pokemon, and now that my hyperfixation on it has come and gone, I don't have as much desire to make Pokemon videos. You are more than welcome to not watch this video and wait for more Pokemon content, but please refrain from comments detesting this content over the Pokemon stuff. So, with those things out of the way, let's begin. When I was 6, I had my first crush, as I mentioned before. This was on a girl who was admittedly twice my age when I was in dance class. She was actually a really good friend of mine, but once I stopped going to dance class, I never saw nor heard from her again. Since her, I hadn't had a crush on another girl until Sugar, my worst ex ever, and admittedly, that was mainly because she looked like the girl I crushed on in dance class. The next crush I had was Sonic, who was mentioned in the same video my first crush was. This was very odd for me because Sonic was a dude and not a girl. I didn't chalk it up to be anything really until the next few crushes I had were guys as well. Tiger, Lucario, a couple minor ones in between those two. So eventually I told my parents I thought I was gay and that I liked Lucario. They had known and met Lucario, so I did refer to him by name when telling them I liked him. At first, they were pretty taken aback, but eventually they were kind of like, hey, at least you won't get any girl pregnant by accident. By the time I was in middle school, which was relieving, not gonna lie. After what happened with Springtrap the summer before freshman year, I started to develop feelings for Sugar when she was over at my house. As mentioned in the Ex's Storytime finale, Okami had admitted to liking me. As I said, I viewed Okami as a sister figure, so I did not feel the same, and was actively developing feelings for Sugar. This is when I first started to question my sexuality. I had only liked guys before, but now I liked a girl. What was going on? Despite a few red flags here and there, I was wearing rose-colored glasses at the time and decided to give it a shot with her. Again, something I mentioned in the Ex's Storytime finale, I wonder how my sexuality would have changed if I had been with Okami instead of Sugar, and didn't ignore the obvious red flags in front of my face. Once I officially started dating Sugar, that's when instead of saying I was gay, I said I was bi since, well, I was dating a girl now. However, after all the shit Sugar did to me, my brain started to second guess itself, and I was starting to wonder if I really was gay and me liking girls was quote-unquote just a phase, as some call it. Eventually, I had convinced myself this was the truth, but it still didn't get sugar off my back. When her and I finally cut ties for good, I had only dated guys after her. Rubik, Florigato, Pepe, Dev, and now Kael'thas. However, once during the summer when Rubik and I dated and were taking a break, which I had forgotten to mention in his video, I tried being in a long-distance romantic relationship with a girl at the time who we will call Lily during that break. Lily was a sweet girl, admittedly a bit much to handle, but was leagues above Sugar and, hell, even Rubik as a partner. Though, once she sent me a bikini pic and tried to engage in quote-unquote frisky conversation, I thought about it, and I just told her I couldn't do it, and that yes, I was gay. Maybe that was the trauma from what Sugar did to me taking over, but we split amicably and remained friends until she went AWOL one day and I never heard from her again. From mid-2017, after Lily and I failed to work, until around mid-2021 when Dev had came back into my life for the second time, I identified as fully gay. Cisgender guys only. In 2021, I finally started to embrace the fact that I'm actually pansexual and that I shouldn't let Sugar completely ruin something for me. No, I would still never romantically involve myself with a cisgender woman, but I admit that not all women would be like Sugar, and I'd still get frisky with one if given the chance. As for trans men and women and non-binary folk, I have never had a romantic encounter with one, so I'm not sure if I'd date someone who's trans or not. Now, into the elephant in the room. The fact that I'm polyamorous. First instance of my polyamory being evident was actually all the way back in 7th grade. When I had a crush on Cookie, I had also been slightly infatuated with another guy who we'll call Robertsky Peachman. I had actually liked Robertsky before Cookie, but once I started liking Cookie, my feelings for Robertsky were there, sure, but they slowly faded as I became more fixated on Cookie. At the time, I thought nothing of it, as again, this was 7th grade, and having a crush on both of them was gone almost as soon as it came. Back when I was dating Sugar, I had no idea what polyamory was at first, even with the situation mentioned prior, but she introduced me to the idea when I started dating Arthur. However, I initially shut it down and told her she was f***ing crazy to think I'd be okay with such an idea. Same reaction came when she asked me to do the same with Rubik. I'll also clarify that when I mentioned Rubik was oddly okay with the arrangement Sugar proposed, he was okay with it only because if it was really what I wanted, he wouldn't have stood in my way. Not sure if he would have took part in being with Sugar too, as he was a cheater after all, and I know for a fact he wasn't polyamorous, but figured I'd clarify that. Fast forward to, again, 2021. I was still monogamous and frankly hadn't even fully embraced my pansexuality either. However, cracks started appearing when I was dating Dev for the second time, and Kael'thas would still try to do things with me and mention how he loved me. I realized something huge after a little while of this happening. I wanted both Kael'thas and Dev. However, I knew I could only have one because Kael'thas is monogamous and totally against being polyamorous himself, and while I don't know Dev's stance, I'm certain he's monogamous too. So I had to choose between the two. I put their pros and cons together, weighed my options, thought hard about the decision, and in the end, I decided to choose Kael'thas because his pros outweighed Dev's, and again, Dev was an extremely absent partner, which was not good for me, someone whose primary love languages are quality time and physical touch. Though, truth is, I still sometimes think about what it would be like to have both Dev and Kael'thas by my side, despite the chances of it happening being one big ol' goose egg now that Dev wants nothing to do with me, and Kael'thas is monogamous. As a side note, I will also admit, if Dev had no issues with me being polyamorous and just wanted there to be no secrets of who else I was involved with, like Flippy, or was just plain polyamorous himself, I would have definitely considered giving him a third chance if he could be more attentive and I could actually feel like he was a partner. I love Kael'thas dearly and wouldn't immediately drop him for Dev right away, as he would have to prove himself better than before and be okay with my sexuality first, but because Kael'thas is not polyamorous or okay with me dating more than one person, I feel admittedly trapped, and if I could find a partner who's polyamorous too, or didn't mind it, I would honestly prefer that. Anyways, sorry for the vent, back to the main topic. Though, I still did not embrace my polyamory until late last year, when everything went down with Flippy. Once Flippy and I started to get acquainted romantically, I finally embraced my polyamory and started coming out about it. I had learned it was nothing to be embarrassed about, and why should I be embarrassed about it to begin with? Everyone's different, who the hell cares? So, I can safely say now that I am pansexual, homoromantic, and polyamorous. It is a mouthful, but when someone random asks me, I just say I'm gay. I don't tend to get into the nitty gritty very often with randos, and sometimes not even with my own friends. Well, that's it. I just figured I would make something quick for Pride Month since we're already halfway through it, so if the script is choppy or sounds unrevised, it's because it is. I wrote this during my lunch break at work and just decided to roll with what I had. Next video will be a Pokemon video, I promise. Until next time, eat cake. Cake is yummy. See ya!